Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't care what the doctor says? I 38F have been married to my husband 41M for 10 years. We have been together for 12. He told me today when he got home from work at 8 p.m. that he passed out at work. He told me the medics were called and now he has to go to the doctor to get blood work done. He did not call me and asked his co-workers not to call me because he didn't want me to worry. It really hurt my feelings. This comes after an accident that happened just after we started dating. He was involved in a serious explosion that caused first and second degree burns on the right side of his face and arm. He didn't call me until I was getting discharged from the hospital as I was not listed as an emergency contact yet. I explained to him after that accident that I would have liked to be there for support, to talk to doctors, to ask questions, to learn aftercare and anything else that was important information. Well, after he told me about today's incident, he began asking what I think it could have been, what it could be, what the doctor might say, and so on. I told him if you didn't care enough to let me know something was wrong when it was wrong, I don't care enough to care now. Am I the asshole? Edit to add: after reading comments I must add he called his best friend while being assessed by medics. His co-workers wanted to call me but he said no. Info: have you asked him why he didn't want you there? Info: why aren't you his emergency contact? You're the asshole. When something traumatic happens to someone, they aren't always in their right mind. Should he have called? Yep. But you don't have to compound the situation by being flippant and refusing to help him through this. Have some empathy and do the right thing for the person you are going through life with. You're the asshole. Me, that's all this post was about, so you don't actually care to support your spouse, you just want to be the first to know. Why is he married to someone he doesn't feel is important enough to call when there is an emergency? You're his wife, not his girlfriend. You're the person who will make medical decisions for him when he's not able to do it himself. If he wanted that to be someone else, he shouldn't have married you. Basically, if he died, you would know nothing until the friends told you. Not the asshole. The relationship is in peril if you ask me. So, he did tell you about what he needs to follow up on and you're mad he didn't tell you right after it happened. When one is passed out, they can't talk. When someone is getting assessed by medics, you don't make calls. After one has a medical issue, they need to process things. It's not like he kept this from you. He waited until he got home to tell you. You are making this about you when it's not about you. You're the asshole. You're the asshole for about you and your ego instead of about his health. He should have called you. The people of Reddit have decided that he didn't because you would have overreacted, based on exactly no evidence. Would you overreact? If not, you need to work out what his problem is. Not telling you is weird and disrespectful. Based on what you have said, and not imaginary facts, not the asshole. I'll go against the grain with everyone and Saint R. He should have got a co-worker to let you know what happened and not to worry. If he wants to deal with his own problems, then let him. I would have done the same thing as you. Not the asshole. If he doesn't trust you enough to involve you in his health matters, why are you with him? Part of the wedding vows are in sickness and in health. That he calls his best friend instead of his wife says a lot. Weird that he refuses to contact you and you have every right to be mad as he's your partner, but there was absolutely no reason to say that and that goes against your point. Maybe we're starting to see why he wouldn't call you. There's a lot of holes in these comments, so honestly I'm just confused as to who the real A is now. Empathy's not a big theme in your lives, is it? Unamused face. A bit petty lol, but not the asshole. Why did he call his bestie, but not his wife? His wife of a decade, no less. My husband told me everything, and I, him. We were a team with no secrets. I feel that losing consciousness at work qualifies as a need-to-know thing for a spouse, and that common sense dictates that he inform you. You have a reason to be upset. You're the asshole, put your ego aside. Your husband did not want to bother you at the time it happened. I bet he thought it was nothing. Work to cover their own interests has the ants come. You don't say if they took him to the hospital, just to see a doctor for blood work. If he had passed out, fainted at home, how would he have handled it? By the way, at the time of the first accident, you would have been told much more than the basics by the hospital staff. You were not married, not related, they would not have discussed anything alone with you. Not the asshole. I would be livid if my husband told his co-workers not to call me in an emergency. Like rethinking our marriage. Livid. I'll go MEH on this one. I did that to my fiancée, now wife, many years ago. Went totally radio silence for the week I was in ICU after inhaling chemicals, thinking not to bother her with it. It is not about me. It is common decency to inform your loved ones. What if you actually died and she was not there? That will hurt her a lot more. Consider others in your actions. Next time I will make sure my SO is the first to know. Not the asshole. As someone who has been on both sides on this situation, I can't imagine not contacting my partner when an emergency happens, nor would I feel great if my partner didn't contact me in the same situation. I find it strange not to have your partner listed as an emergency contact. I would bet most of the people saying you're selfish are either single or have never been in a circumstance like this. Not the asshole. He called his best friend but not you, and that's not okay. Not wanting you to worry is understandable, but that's what partners are for, to be there for each other through good and bad situations. If you're a delusional, hysterical person, maybe I could understand him calling someone else, but you seem to be rational, at least from this post. I can understand why he didn't want to worry you when he thought he would be okay, but I can also understand why you would be hurt. The thing is, he did what he did so as not to worry you, but you said what you did to deliberately hurt him. That makes you the asshole. You're the asshole. As his next of kin, you are the first person who should be contacted. Your number should be his only emergency contact. You need to have a discussion about this. Imagine being in an explosion and your girlfriend is like, well, you could have called. You're the asshole and probably have been one for 12 years. For what it's worth, I totally get it. You probably feel like if he really cared about what you think, pretty sure he'd have allowed contact to be made instead of actively protest it. Especially knowing how you already feel about these types of situations. He's up, walking around, speaking fine. Might be something as simple as dehydration, low blood pressure. You deserve to vent and not be labeled an AH. Not the asshole, in my opinion. OP is asking if she's TA for not wanting to discuss what could be wrong if he doesn't have to let his wife know that he's having a medical emergency. Why is she obligated to discuss it with him? Redditors have some weird perspectives. You care immensely. You aren't telling all the details. What else has you upset? Not the asshole. If he can go out of his way to tell them not to call you but call his best friend, it seems like he didn't want you to know, especially if this is a running theme in your relationship. Not the asshole. It's rather stupid to not have your partner contacted immediately, to be kept in the loop in the unfortunate circumstance that it turns south fast. And especially when you're married, you are usually the next to make medical decisions if the one in care is unable. For your partner to constantly leave you to know to the end after everything's passed is childish. I would hope, if you have kids now or ever, that he doesn't pull this crap if one of them were to get hurt. Not the asshole. If my partner didn't tell me that they were in hospital for whatever reason, I'd be pissed too. Like, I get them not wanting me to worry, but they're my partner and I'd want to know for the above reasons Op said. Like, what if there's shit I need to know, like aftercare and so on? If stuff is worse, then I'd be the one who has to take care of said partner, so it makes sense for me to be there. And it's not even about making it about yourself, but you're there for your spouse and their care. So I don't get why people think